Hello guys, Diamond Hunter Zero here, and today we are in 1.9, the official release, for a little tutorial and sort of badge issue that I wanted to talk about. There we go, that should make it easier. And these are pistons, and this is why I have my sound turned down all the way. So I've got this running. Let's just up back into game mode, creative for now. Turn that off. And there have been some changes to pistons in 1.9, and in particular, the way that they work with redstone. You can place redstone on top of pistons, however it will break. Not sure why they added it, not sure if that's a bug or whether they're changing the way pistons and redstone works, but you can do that at the moment. And there's also something very odd that you can do. Pistons disappear when you use them for a fraction of a second, for a tiny fraction of a second. When the piston retracts, it turns into an air block, which you won't see on your screen. You can't see it, the game doesn't identify it, but you can do this. You can walk through piston blocks for a very tiny fraction of a second, and this allows you to basically create some secret entrances. Now, if you want to see more about this, Seth Blin did a great video on how these work. There'll be a link to that video and more stuff about the disappearing pistons in the description. But, yeah, so what happens is, when the piston extends, it will extend like a normal full block, but once it retracts, the time between the piston is extended and the time that it is retracted, it becomes an air block for a very tiny second. And this allows you to do some pretty good things. And so we can turn that back on and turn my sound off because it's absolutely crazy on my headset. But we can walk. Look, we can walk forwards and backwards through these pistons here. They're all set up so that they go at the same time. And this allows you to create a secret entrance. And we can walk through this pathway as long as we want, as long as the redstone is turned on. However, once we walk out, we can't enter back in. This tunnel is a one-way entrance. The reason is that the piston head is the block that turns to air, not the actual piston. So we can't enter. Oh, I didn't break that. Let's turn that back off, so I can turn my sound back on. Here we go. So here's some devices that I made you can use with this bug. The first one is a trap. Very simple one. It shoots when this piston activates, because when it activates it turns into an air block and the dispenser can shoot through it. So you'll see. You can just see the dispenser there. If we go around the side, it's just filled with these arrows. And to prove that this isn't something that dispensers normally do, let's grab a piston, let's grab a block, and let's grab a dispenser, and oops, we also want some redstone. Let's put an arrow in there. It gets stuck on the piston, it's not gonna hit you. Now we can do this whichever way we want to. We can put one there, and it's going to get stuck on that piston. Let's hop back into game mode survival. That one it hit it because I believe it's hitting that piston there for the tiny second. But yeah, when this turns into air, the dispenser will shoot you. So moving on, we have the bank. This is a nice little one, using a feature to do with the invisible block. So when we hit this, you can hold down the right click button in order to interact with any blocks behind the piston. And this one takes a little practice to get used to. There we go. So you see, we can activate and use this chest for the tiny second that the piston becomes an air block. Let's take some of these. And then once you're done, no one knows there's a chest behind there. You can't see it. and that's because if we head back into Game Mode Creative, it's hidden under this block here, directly next to the piston. So when this becomes an air block, like that, you can activate the chest. Now, moving on, we have the bed. This works in a similar way. It does have to be night, though. And this one, again, takes a little bit of aiming. There we go. Just have to sort of do it to the side there. You do need to be in survival mode to do it. But it's just a bed hidden behind the pistons there. You can use that as a secret spawn point, or to protect yourself from other players. And we're stuck on the outside. Right. So that works on the same theory that when this turns into an air block, you can interact with any blocks behind it. This one is a boat, works in exactly the same way. Just try and get the aim right. There we go. So that one, not sure why it worked before. I got it to work yesterday when I set this world up. But you'll see if we hop into this block here, we can go inside the piston and then we can hop into the boat. So let's head back out and I'll show you this side. Well, this one works sort of on the same theory as the others, that you can... There we go. Worked first time. This one is probably the simplest and the most compact. It's simply a minecart on a rail behind the piston door here. This one's the easiest to use. And it works as a great one-way secret entrance. So over here we have the second last one. This is the fence. And this is based on the fact that you can teleport through some blocks when you use a piston. So what I've got here is a lineup of all the blocks that you're able to squeeze through. And as you can see, none of these are full blocks. This will only work with a half block or a smaller block. Works with brewing stands. It will only work with brewing stands sometimes. I believe that it acts like a slab. End rods, iron bars, fences, glass. It does work with skulls for some reason. And doors. However, it will not work if the door is like this. It will work if you open the door, but not if you close the door. So, this one, rather simple. You open the lever, and then pull the lever, and you're on the other side. Now, the major con of this one is that, obviously, players will be able to see the fence. I tried to hide it. With this painting, and it's decided not to do what I want it to, and it's just going to stay small. There we go. So obviously, yet players will be able to see the fence, but they won't be able to walk through it, and hopefully they won't be able to guess why these pistons are here. So let's go on to the final one here. This one, not so much as an entrance as just a nice little thing that I saw you can do. Let's grab some boats. Pistons can also pull. If you watch Cessplin's video, he's got a couple of elevators which work on this principle. And this also works with boats. So, you'll see here I've got two water channels, one either side. And I've got a fence and a web. Now, it has to be important, this block here has to be a web. It won't work with a fence, because boats cannot go through fences. This is technically a block you can walk through, and it's just big enough to allow the boat through. You can't do this with a fence, and you can't leave this air, otherwise players will be able to click on the water over there. So, very simple. Place down the boat, hop in it, move backwards a little, and then you can choose to go left or right. So, there we go. We went right that time, and then we can hop into the water here. Little shallow. Yeah, be careful when you're getting out of boats in 1.9, because you can suffocate. But, here we go. And then just to prove that it does work, you can do this multiple times. Let's go left this time. You'll see that the piston extends, it catches the boat, and then when it turns into an air block, it will pull us back. So we're just stuck in the web, and then you can get out. And that is the magical disappearing piston in 1.9. It's definitely a bug. Who knows if they're going to fix it. There are so many bugs in 1.9 right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. And you can use this trick to create secret entrances or secret areas for you and your friends. It works on multiplayer servers, I believe. And I hope you enjoyed this. Check out some of my other 1.9 videos. Please subscribe and stay tuned.